John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio. We'll watch the credits from up high and low. Cinema Classics
is hosted by John DeSando. Listen to shows Thursdays at 8:01 p.m. on WCBE 90.5 FM, and listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Gary Hammond.
And this is Cinema Classics. Now, you made a great choice for a lifelong companion.
Yes.
I love Terry. She's brilliant, and she takes your guff and gives it back to you. I just like it very much. I've had a couple of chances, and I think that they were pretty good along the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. There may have been a moment when I thought maybe the day would come when I could actually have one that fits all of my requirements. And what do you know? We have a movie like that. This is called Companion. Companion. So it's.
I so wondered where you were going with this, and Terry will be entertained.
But listen, Gary. Let's get this out flat. Even the marketing tells you that she is a robot. It would have been nice if you could have lasted a little bit longer not knowing it in the movie, because they shoot that out within 10 minutes. But what I'm trying to say is that it's almost impossible to talk about this movie without saying that the companion of the title is a lovely young woman who happens to be the companion of a dorky guy.
And I didn't see the promotions. I didn't see
anything.
Anything.
Didn't, so you didn't know.
I knew there was a robot in there somewhere. But when I saw her walking through the grocery store in the beginning, she seemed kind of robotic. I didn't really latch on it right then. And there's more to be revealed. And you know, how do we not give the story away? In any event, there's more to be revealed about her. But she seemed a little off, and I thought, I don't know, maybe. So.
Yeah, which is a tribute to Sophie Thatcher, who is the lead here, and she was also in Heretic. And she is a lovely young woman with real talent.
Yeah.
Because if she can give you that hint, and I agree with you, the nice thing about knowing ahead of time that she's a robot is to watch the very little clues, the subtle clues in the first 15 or 20 minutes, that if you're sharp enough, you can pick up. Guys like me, if I didn't know ahead of time, wouldn't have known.
And I didn't pick it up until there's a shot from above. Remember Busby Berkeley or whatever, or the Jackie Gleason where they would do the shots overhead? There's an overhead shot of her in bed. And it's like,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. This is she.
Yeah. And our lead, Josh, who was one of the Quaid boys. I think he may be Dennis Quaid's son, something like that. And he has been in a couple of movies, and I think he's a perfect embodiment of the clueless male.
He's clueless, and he thinks he's so smart.
Oh, he does, and that's what makes him so darn clueless. So eventually we find out that she is a robot, and that's, there are words like, that's how she's made, and there are other clues to look at that, but it's not long into the movie when you do know.
Well, you're preparing our listeners to be watching for these things, so they'll feel really smart that they pick it up.
Believe me, Gary, I had to struggle with myself as to how the heck we were going to do it, but I didn't think we'd have anything going unless people knew what this thing was about. And in fact, when we get to the podcast, we'll be talking about other robotic movies, and we won't even talk about current political leaders who are robotic. We stay away from politics in this.
We do, and that this movie is. I'm so anxious to say it. I'll say it now. It is so smart.
Yeah.
It is so clever, so well thought, well written, well acted. Just so it gives nothing. Even now, we're not giving anything away that matters.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with you. The three of us went, you and I and Wayne, and we were really surprised at how good this was and how it kept our attention.
Yes.
And this is Drew Hancock is the director, and the writer of this film. And I have to give him so much credit because, as we'll see in our podcast, there are multiple other AI robot movies out there, and some of them are really very good. Starting way back with Metropolis. I mean, this is quite a heavy-duty contingent here. So I think he's done a great job in providing entertainment at the same time provoking thought.
And it's a classic sci-fi film.
Yes.
It's a classic sci-fi film.
In what way are you thinking?
I'm thinking that it has the elements of it, and the reason it's classic in my view is it's not so obvious. It's not Swiss Family or Space Family Robinson, Danger,
right? Or,
Danger Will,
or even
whatever,
Star Wars,
or Star Wars, or
right.
or any of that. It's just it's subtle. It's in a very human environment with very human emotions. Being played out by people. I'm doing air quotes. You can see me on TV, maybe, but with people that are there. In fact, everybody in the movie is clueless for a certain part of it. The robots and the human beings.
Except for Sergei.
Well, Sergei is Sergei.
I mean, Sergei stands out. The rest of these people are clueless, but I don't think he is. And we find out things about Sergei even when he leaves the screen.
Yes, we do. And Sergei knows exactly what's going on, except that he doesn't, which is kind of a metaphor for the robots, too.
Yeah, and that's Rupert Friend who plays that. He doesn't appear in the whole film. I guess I just want to point out how impressive I think he is.
Yeah.
The rest of them...
He was so smarmy.
And yet you can't help but suspect that he's coming from another direction, and he is great. However, we do have people going in different directions in this film.
Yeah.
We even have a gay contingent.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a very modern horror film. But I'll tell you, Gary, you make me think. The tropes start right away because anybody who knows when something is set in a remote cabin type, and this is an estate.
Yeah.
This is not where you should be going. This is not the vacation you should be taking.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
It really is. It's a setup so right away you go. But we know this is a horror thriller.
Yeah.
I mean, we know, everybody knows going into it. But I have to agree with the sentiment that you had that this is not a really traditional horror film in that there's so much of it that's not bloody.
Yeah.
No, there's got to be some blood. It has to come on. There are people going there. They're going to pay dollars to see some typical horror tropes, and you're going to get them.
Robots don't bleed, John.
But there are other people who might.
Who might and do.
And this will fulfill your expectations. Now, Gary, the thing that really interests me, besides how attractive an actress this Sophie is and how she carries that whole film, it interests me. Is there some kind of an overall theme besides the fact that she's a robot? Is there anything about living? Is there anything about human beings? Is there anything about men that this film touches on, which gives it some weight?
It's that the human beings around her are so clueless, really, and that she, when she becomes herself, is how I'll describe it. She's so smart, just like the movie is so smart.
Yes. Now, the sad thing is a lot of this is programming, which is what we had feared about AI.
Aren't we all programmed?
and yet, what interests me is that men are programmed in a certain way when they're not robots. And one of those things is for men to be in control. Now, I opened up the program citing you and Terry, and there's no way that you have control. I think it's equalized. And for my former wives, they were both strong, and I believe there was an equilibrium there. That's not always so with men. There's a traditional take on men that they really are interested in control. And
many, if not most, if not all, are interested in control, but don't achieve it, and that's part of the frustration of being a man in these modern times.
But I don't think they seek it, do you? I mean, I think Josh in our movie, the Quaid actor Josh, seems to embrace the notion of control. And he evidently arranged this because, as they find out, they did not meet as traditional.
Well, actually, Josh is really primal. When he's hungry, he eats.
Yeah, boy.
When he wants sex, he has sex. When he wants to manipulate people, he manipulates them with unintended consequences.
Yeah. And I think it fulfills a lot of notions that we have about AI and the fears that we currently have about it.
Yeah.
When you see how, as you say, how smart she is. Iris is her name, and she sees the world in a way differently from the way the men do. But or let's say she catches on very quickly.
Catches on.
Yeah. And I love the way that you're able to clue her in or not with a little movement of the finger on the device. Yeah.
They can control her intelligence, which they keep at 40%, I think, and her aggression, which they move to 100%.
Yeah, and that's the part that many of our horror film goers are going to love, is when they ramp up her ability to be violent. And that's
not nice.
Not nice, and that's part of the film. So what else do we learn? And that's what I think this is, at least for me. This is an AI story that teaches me something about what it means to be human. And through the device of an artificial intelligence, I learned something more about living. Does that happen to you at all when you think about it?
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I think she becomes more complete than any of the people were.
Right.
To the extent that we understand the people, but there's no, she's not, reciting E equals MC squared or whatever. She's just very savvy. She's socially savvy and intelligent.
Is this while she's a robot?
No, this is when she takes over, when she becomes herself.
Okay.
When she becomes. You can't say she's fully human because she's a robot, but she's got all of her faculties mentally, and she's wily. She's got social skills so that she can send a signal to another robot at the end.
Gary Hammond,
Yes,
wouldn't you know, I knew we'd get going on this. People have to go to our podcast. In this case, because it's the Cinema Classics child, it's going to be Double Take. And what advice do you have about people going to movies? This is not people like you and me and Wayne. I mean real people, regular people.
Well, I have said before, you often have me go with you and review horror films, which I'm not interested in.
Right.
I didn't want to go see Cocaine Bear, and I ended up loving it because it was a farce. And I wasn't resistant to this because you've made me open to the horror genre. I saw John Wick umpteenth, and so on. So in any event, it's a wonderful movie. It's so smart. It's a good movie for anybody that's interested in being impressed by a film.
I think an early teen might even be able to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones.